Movie 7 Days in Utopia here, starring Robert Duvall.
And borrowed intersecting streets for hit songs.
This town is home to the corner of First and Amistad. It doesn't look like much, but it's the only intersection in the country with that name. And if it sounds familiar, there's a good reason for that.
Yes, it's the intersection made famous in the 2009 song, You Found Me by The Fray.
That was in Queimado, where the origins of the town, which translates to burned or scorched, isn't quite certain. But there are multiple theories.
It was because the Spaniards thought it was a remains of an old volcano.
And it wasn't the first time we ran into some name origin tales that caught us off guard.
Live from KSAT 12, the 6 o'clock news starts right now.
DNA was the answer. It's a case that's been in the works for a full year, and today we're learning about the system that investigators say helped solve Stacey Dromiga's murder.
But first, a wanted felon in and out of prison after at least a dozen arrests.
KSAT Investigates has spent the past 26 hours piecing together the criminal history of Odon Bustos.
He was shot and killed yesterday morning after San Antonio police say that he fired at officers, wounding two of them.
Dylan Collier explains why Bustos was free at the time of that fatal encounter.
Just weeks before 36-year-old Odon Bustos' life ended amid a hail of gunfire outside a Westside motel, surveillance cameras in this Southside convenience store captured him approach the counter and demand money from the register. According to this SAPD incident report, Bustos flashed a gun in his waistband before taking off with $300 and several items stolen from the store. A warrant for aggravated robbery was issued the next day. At the time of his death, Bustos was also wanted for a state parole violation and on a warrant out of Dimmitt County, 2 hours southwest of San Antonio, for obstructing a court order.
This is way too much.
Bustos is the latest suspect accused of shooting and injuring SAPD officers, despite having a long criminal history and recent brushes with the law.
The individuals that are committing crimes are pushing the limit now and testing it where it didn't used to happen.
Court records confirm he had prior convictions for felony drug possession, felon in possession of a firearm, and family assault. Two separate charges of mail theft and unlawful carry of a weapon by someone with a felony conviction were dismissed last year. His attorney told us the cases were taken into consideration when a judge revoked his client's probation in a separate weapons case. That judge sentenced Bustos to 2 years in prison last September, but he was given credit for 285 days time served, meaning he did not remain in custody for very long. Dylan Collier, KSAT Investigates.
So KSAT made multiple requests to interview Bexar County District Attorney Joe Gonzalez. His office was responsible for prosecuting Bustos in most of his cases, and DA officials declined to make Gonzalez available. In a statement, they said that the 2024 weapon charge was rejected because the arresting agency did not provide the evidence that it needed to proceed with that case.
An arrest in a year-old murder now has people wondering why the suspect might have done it. Bexar County Sheriff's investigators say that they recently linked 23-year-old Samuel Charon to the murder through DNA evidence. He is accused of sexually assaulting and killing 63-year-old Stacey Dromiga in September of last year. Her body was found just off of a walking trail near DeFost Park in southeast Bexar County. The site is steps away from Charon's home on Como Street, where neighbors say he seemed to be carrying on with life as usual.
He would be out here every day walking up and down the street at night. And
I've been here for a long time, and for somebody to do that in the park is terrible.
Charon was arrested yesterday on a charge of capital murder. Some neighbors say that the news comes as a relief, while others are shocked. He had been living near them this whole time.
So we now know that it was Charon's DNA that tipped off deputies. So the question is why it even took a full year. Sheriff Javier Salazar said that it has to do with the national DNA database called CODIS.
Courtney Friedman heard that and wanted to know more about it, so she followed up today with the Bexar County Sheriff, Javier Salazar, to see just how that system works.
Well, if you don't work in law enforcement, you likely don't know what CODIS is. Don't worry, I didn't know either. It's an acronym for Combined DNA Index System. It's the national DNA database run by the FBI. It records samples from crime scenes, convicted felons, or felony arrests. So why are we talking about it today? Well, because we're told it is the key that solved a year-long murder case right here in Bexar County.
A forensic sample, something taken from a crime scene. We don't know who this person is, but we have their DNA here. We'll enter that in, and then what it starts doing is it starts running it through the systems, and it has to exhaust the local one before it moves on to the state. Once that's exhausted, it'll move on to the national.
Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar said that's what happened with DNA found at the scene where 63-year-old Stacy Dramiga was attacked and killed last September. DNA was collected from Stacy and a rock, the alleged murder weapon. It was entered into CODIS, yet nothing in the system matched it. That is, until this week. Salazar says, thanks to a new law.
Came into place a couple of years back where anybody being booked into the jail on felony charges, even if it's a nonviolent felony, we need to be taking a DNA swab.
Turns out the suspect, 23-year-old Samuel Charon, was booked in the Bexar County Jail on felony criminal mischief charges back in April. Those charges were eventually dismissed, but the swab was already on its way to the lab.
October 13th is when we got the notification that it was a positive match. 2 days later, we had him in handcuffs.
The obvious observation, it took almost 6 months from the time Charon was swabbed to when his DNA hit a match in the CODIS system.
I would love to see those samples come to us much quicker, because you never know. You know, between the course of several months like that, there's a lot of bad things that can happen.
But his focus now is that there is a murder suspect in hand, thanks to a system most people knew nothing about. Courtney Friedman, KSAT 12 News.
Now day 5 in the trial of 3 former San Antonio police officers accused in the killing of Melissa Bettis. Today, another officer who was at the apartment complex the night that Bettis was killed took the stand. Officer Jonathan Salinas was the 3rd officer to arrive on that night. He was the officer that you see on body camera video attempting to climb into Bettis's apartment before she swung a hammer at him. When the prosecution asked why he did that, Salinas testified that Alfred Flores, who was in charge that night, gave him the approval to do so.
And what did you discuss with with Defendant Flores?
It was a short conversation. I advised him, hey, my misdemeanor charge for criminal mischief was now upgraded for felony amount. Spoke with Detective Thornton, Knight's ID, and advised him that I would like to try to apprehend her to the open window, which Flores responded, okay, keep me posted.
Testimony is expected to continue tomorrow, and we are live streaming this trial on all of our streaming platforms. We invite you to watch.
2 Army commands based here in San Antonio are leaving Military City, USA. Fort Sam Houston will no longer be home to Army North and Army South. The Army's Chief of Staff says the 2 will consolidate and head to Fort Bragg in North Carolina. That consolidation will form the Western Hemisphere Command. Mayor Gina Ortiz-Jones responded to KSAT's request for comment about this move today. Jones's statement read in part, quote, while I am disappointed to hear the consolidated headquarters will relocate to North Carolina, Army leaders this summer indicated even this outcome could yield a minimal impact to the overall Army footprint at Joint Base San Antonio, end quote. We also reached out to Fort Sam Houston and Army Public Affairs for comment about this as well, but because of the government shutdown, officials were unavailable at this time.
Well, let's give you a live look outside of the traffic situation. We're going to show you Highway 90 there at Loop 1604 North, where you can see traffic does look pretty heavy at this hour, but at least it is still flowing smoothly. No major accidents right now anywhere along town in order to tell you about. Moving a water chilling plant to make way for Project Marvel could cost more than $200 million.
As voters prepare to decide on helping fund a key part of Project Marvel, the new Spurs Arena, Garrett Berger looks at a project on the other side of that proposed district.
The cost isn't set, but SAWS doesn't expect relocating and expanding a chilled water plant will be cheap.
So we engaged Jacobs Engineering to give us a specific number, and that should come right before Thanksgiving. But I pretty confident saying it's not going to be south of $200 million.
The plant is one of 2 that pump cold water to feed the AC systems of 22 downtown sites. Moving the plant would make room for a second convention center hotel, one of the many projects within the city's broader plan for a sports and entertainment district known as Project Marvel. And with the new development, the utility wants to build a bigger plant to support it.
It'll take us from a 14,000-ton plant to a 25,000-ton plant, so it's nearly double.
But who'd pay for the move? Utility officials say the pending study will help determine how much new customers from downtown development would help cover the cost. They might also look to the city for help, whether it's the use of a TERS, a kind of special tax capture district, or a bond.
Be the city bonding capacity and all that. But I just want to be clear, that's a city decision that will be informed by the feasibility study. That's not a SAWS decision.
But the chilled water system is separate from the water and wastewater bills we pay, and the rate hikes that SAWS is considering for that. Would residential or commercial ratepayers be on the hook for any of it?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Part of the funding for another piece of Project Marvel, a new Spurs Arena, is on the November 4th ballot. But while the chilled water plant relocation and Spurs Arena are both part of Project Marvel, the SAWS board chair tried to make it clear at a meeting last week they are different.
To me, it's important to say that those costs that we're talking to the city about are not included or a part of the proposed proposition A or B that's in the community today.
It's possible as well that SAWS and the city decide a relocation is just too expensive.
Both parties say, you know what, why don't we expand in place perhaps, or build another satellite plant smaller in a different location to perhaps serve the new arena.
A city spokesman also told us in an emailed statement, in part, quote, to date, the city has not received a projected cost for relocation of the chilled water plant, projected expansion costs, or projected chilled water rates. If determined to not be feasible, then the relocation will not proceed. As you can see right now, the chilled water plant is downtown, right across from the convention center, one of many sites that it does send that cooled water to. We'll see whether or not it stays there, probably in the next few months. Live downtown, I'm Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
Garrett, thank you. San Antonio's South Side could have another manufacturing boom.
JCB, this is the world's largest privately owned construction equipment manufacturing company, and it's planting major roots on that side of town.
Bashada Pope visited that site today to see the facility that is even bigger than originally planned.
JCB Texas says they are looking to fill 1,500 jobs when their new home opens next year. And that home is going to be much bigger than they first thought.
In June 2024, JCB broke ground on its newest North American facility. 18 months in, this is the framework of JCB Texas. The facility was initially going to be 500,000 square feet, but officials announced earlier this year the plant was doubling its size to 1 million square feet.
And Texas is a great place to distribute machines from, so just a natural evolution of our business to build more in the US, and Texas is a great place to do it.
Once this factory is fully operational and we're working at this first phase capacity, we'll be building close to 150 machines a day.
Construction of this multi-million-dollar facility isn't the only focus for JCB. It's also trying to cement itself as a strong community partner of San Antonio.
Just last month, JCB partnered with local companies to enter into the construction competition to help the San Antonio Food Bank and to feed the creativity of future architects. David Carver, the director of operations for the San Antonio facility, says the company is looking to employ individuals with a wide range of skills.
The key skills that we need on site here is there's a big welding shop, so welding is a key skill for us, and that's everything from manually welding to automation and robotics.
And Carver says the employee profile doesn't stop there.
We've reached out to lots of the non-profit organisations, working with people like Haven, working with Chrysalis Ministries, working with Morgan's, just trying to look at those other areas of employment.
As of now, JCB Texas is slated to open October 2026. Officials are encouraging those interested in applying for a job to check out their website. We have that link on our website, KSAT.com. Bashada Pope, KSAT 12 News.
It is a story we have been following for nearly a year and a half now. Controversy surrounding the Wahalote Ranch development and the wastewater plant that would come with it. What records show about similar treatment plants in our area. Next, here on the news at 6.
KSAT is asking new questions about a proposed wastewater treatment plant up in northwest Bexar County. It's part of the controversial Guajolote Ranch development.
So researchers say that the treated sewage that would flow into the Edwards Aquifer as a result could severely impact the drinking water for San Antonio.
And more than 2.5 million people. But what about the similar treatment facilities that already exist around our area? And also what makes this one in particular different?
Our Sarah Acosta looks into the compliance records of these existing plants.
People rob banks, but that doesn't make it correct.
It pisses me off.
That's the reaction I got from those who've been fighting the proposed Guajolote Ranch development for years.
When Lennar, the Florida-based construction group, sent me this map of already existing wastewater treatment facilities along the Edwards Aquifer recharge zone. Their question, what makes the one that they want to build worse than the ones that already exist?
It's a little childish, to be honest. By pointing out all the things that other people are doing wrong and saying we can do wrong also, that's not the solution.
Lennar wants to build 3,000 homes on 1,100 acres for a proposed development called Guajolote Ranch. It would require a wastewater treatment facility that would dump treated sewage into Helotes Creek. That creek feeds into the Trinity and Edwards aquifers, which are part of the drinking water supply for nearly 2.5 million people across south central Texas and parts of the Hill Country. A 2020 study paid for by the city of San Antonio found that adding wastewater treatment systems would significantly degrade the watershed and the quality of water recharging the Edwards Aquifer. The group fighting this, the Scenic Loop Neighborhood Alliance, along with local and state leaders, took that map and looked into the Environmental Protection Agency's enforcement and compliance history.
Here is what they found. Out of the 16, only 4 meet drinking water standards. Of those 4, 3 have been out of compliance over the past 3 years. And 1 was fined by the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality for serious noncompliance. Half of the wastewater treatment facilities that have reported data have been out of compliance at times over the past 3 years. 2 of these plants have been fined for noncompliance over $52,000. And violations included high levels of pollutants like E. coli, ammonia, nitrogen, and phosphorus.
What that tells me, though, is that TCEQ has been a little fast and loose with how they've allowed wastewater treatment plants along this region.
We know more today than we've ever known about wastewater, and we need to act on that for the good of the people of San Antonio, and that means no more plants on the contributing zone.
Scientist Stuart Birnbaum says not only do we have better data now on the damage that this has done, but where this proposed treatment facility would go also makes a difference. Dropping that treated sewage right over the Helotes Creek watershed.
This particular area is extremely sensitive.
I have emailed and called Lennar several times requesting a sit-down interview about this. I did not get a response. I emailed and called the TCEQ asking, how is this acceptable? And why are the fines so low? I got an email back saying when TCEQ identifies violations, we follow the enforcement process detailed on this webpage. They did not answer my questions.
Where is Lennar?
Former Mayor Ron Nirenberg says during his time in office, he attempted numerous times to find a better solution with the developer. He is determined to protect the drinking water of San Antonio.
You know, they will not come to the table because it's more important for them to get their profits on this development when they'll pack up and leave town, and we're going to be stuck with the mess that they create.
Sarah Acosta, KSAT 12 News.
And we'll keep following, that's for sure. All right, let's take a look outside with live cam. We got some clouds. That's a little bit of a change, but the temperature is not. It's kind of right where it's been hanging out for a long time, Adam.
Well, we're still at 1390-degree days. Stephanie, we went over this yesterday at 10 o'clock. Yes, and we're still at 13 because today our high was just under 90. So that's something. I'm trying to bring you a piece of good news. It's a shred of good news. But record-challenging heat this upcoming weekend. Despite a weak cool front moving in, the humidity is going to plummet on Sunday. That's the main difference with that front. And unfortunately, we still have the fall fail. Wah, wah, wah. No cool or cold air anytime soon. Here's the front that's going to be moving in Saturday night, and don't get excited about it. Again, it's a wind shift and it's a drop in humidity. Record-challenging highs over the weekend. Not every front changes your temperature much, but if it changes the dew point and humidity, yes, it's technically a cool front. So that's still way up in the plains headed southward. Notice how our dew points just tank on Sunday because of that front and then quickly rebound again. Now, it's not going to be overly humid necessarily leading up to it. Right now, dew points upper 50s. That's going to be fairly typical for the afternoons going forward. But let's look at our futurecast, because in the mornings and at night, you're going to notice some humidity out there. By Sunday morning, that changes because of that boundary that moves through, pulls the drier air into place just for one day. I wish we could drum up some rain, but it's looking very unlikely. So this is last week's drought monitor. I'm going to start with this and then look at your screen and especially watch east of San Antonio along I-10. 3, 2, 1. Boom, the new drought monitor. Of course, not any better. It's only gotten worse. We've fallen deeper into drought, and now this red area, the extreme drought, has spread eastward through Seguin, Stockdale, all the way to Gonzales as well. And across the state, we're just falling deeper into drought because of the dry conditions. Unfortunately, dry conditions continuing. I mean, maybe a 10% chance of rain here or there, but that's about it. And tomorrow, that would be right along the Gulf Coast and a few counties inland possibly, but that would be it. Upper level high still influencing us, but it's really not really as in control as it was before, but it's still deflecting the active weather up and around us. And then we'll have a weak trough move in that's not going to do anything. Most of the action is going to be across the northern tier of the country. So that's where you see most of the rainfall potential. We need one of these upper disturbances to dig southward and bring us better rain chances. Unfortunately, pretty much the entire state looking fairly dry going forward. All right, this weekend, I mentioned record challenging heat. So the average high is 82. We're going to be 90 tomorrow, 92 Saturday, 93 Sunday. Should this verify, then that would tie the record for the daily high temperature, the daily record, I should say, on Sunday. And even Saturday, the record's 93. So we're going to be close to that. So record challenging. Cooler air, western U.S. right now, cooler than average. I mean, Vegas and Phoenix, double digits below average. Look at Phoenix, 79. Vegas at 72. What? We're 84. It's because they have that big trough, that dip in the upper level flow that pulls that cooler air southward. There's going to be more troughs and cooler air being pulled southward in the days ahead, but the core of that cooler air just isn't going to get close enough to us for it to really make a difference in our temperatures, unfortunately. Right now, 86. By 8 o'clock, we're at 83, 10 o'clock at 78, 66 at sunrise tomorrow, 83 noon, 90 the high temperature. Another pleasant morning tomorrow, but I do want to point out that the mornings ahead thereafter, like Saturday morning, it's going to be humid and right near 70, so kind of a spring-like morning on Saturday, and then just high and dry near 90.
All right, Adam, thank you.
All right, so the boys are getting some key reinforcements back.
Yeah, you wouldn't know that they've been without a couple of their key offensive players because the offense has been performing so well, but that is indeed the case. We'll tell you more about that coming up. And the Spurs got some housekeeping done today, what the front office has been up to, and more on Victor Wembanyama's development coming up.
Way more dangerous, way more explosive too. When you got other guys like C and Turp out there, it's another component of explosiveness that you can't really describe.
Well, the NFL's top offense is getting a couple of key players back in big board sports. At 5, we shared with you the left wrist sprain Jeremy Sohan sustained, making him unavailable for the Spurs season opener on Wednesday in Dallas. But on a different note, San Antonio announced today they've exercised their third-year option on reigning unanimous Rookie of the Year Stephon Castle and their fourth-year option on Victor Wembanyama for next season. Now, Wemby focused on strengthening and expanding his game this summer. Here's Keldon Johnson on how he feels his 7'4" forward/center is evolving as a playmaker and distributor.
I feel like he's just evolved his game. I feel like he's one of the hardest workers. He works very hard, and I have no worries about Vic having the ball and making plays for us. He understands the game. He watches film. He works his butt off. So, mistakes will come. But as far as being a distributor, I feel like he'll do an amazing job. I think he'll put us in great spots to be successful, and we believe that he'll put us in great spots to be successful. He's our guy.
Well, the Spurs' final tune-up is tomorrow at home at 7 o'clock in a rematch versus the Pacers. Okay, the Dallas Cowboys receiving corps is on track to be fully operational on Sunday against the Commanders, as receivers CeeDee Lamb and Kevontae Turpin are expected to return to action. But even without both wideouts, the Cowboys' offense has been incredible, ranked first in total offense. The defense, however, has been the team's Achilles heel, sitting in dead last in total defense. Meanwhile, George Pickens has stepped up big in both receivers' absence.
Super good. Like I said, moving me around, especially when she was out, which gave me a better understanding of like the full playbook now, you know what I mean, as well. So like when C comes back, Turk comes back, now they can move more of us all around, a little bit better than we did before.
How much more dangerous do you think you guys can be as a unit with that added element?
Super dangerous, especially plus Ferg too. You can't figure out Ferg, but super dangerous.
Well, that's good to hear. We'll hear from CeeDee Lamb tonight on the Night Beat. Now turning our attention to the Houston Texans, who are getting ready for a late 9 o'clock kickoff on Monday in Seattle. Now sitting at 2-3 in an AFC South division that's seeing the Colts and Jaguars exceed expectations. The stakes are high for Houston to move to 500 on Monday.
Every game's important. I think every game we take very seriously, and we know what's at stake. But it's all about, you can't overthink it. You got to one play at a time, one game at a time, one opportunity at a time. So I think with that mindset, it makes it a lot easier to execute and do well instead of putting a bunch of pressure on yourself. So I think that's what we're doing this week, and I'm excited to go up there and play.
Well, we're going even more in depth, talking Spurs, Cowboys, and Texans, plus more coming up at 7 o'clock on KSAT Sports Now. So be sure to join us on our streaming platforms.
Okay. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
All right, coming up next, we have Puro picks for the weekend. We'll be right back.
Get the party It's Thursday. Look, it's party time here at KSAT. Our good friend and local influencer Stephanie Guerra is here to tell us what's happening around town, and she is here with Puro Picks.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Happy Thursday.
All right, let's talk about all the cool local stuff you have lined up for us. We are talking first about Big Texas Comic-Con.
I'm super stoked that it's finally here. I've been seeing the ads and promo forever now. Big Texas Comic-Con is been going on for quite a few years now, downtown at the convention center. All of the celebrities, all of your favorite spooky people are going to be there. Yes, so we've got some Stranger Things cast coming. Jamie Campbell Bower, Luis Guzman, who's in the Addams Family Wednesday. But if you're a little older, like my age, you'll know him from a lot of other movies. Harvey Guillen, Cobra Kai cast, Henry Winkler, and a lot of other cast members from Happy Days will be here. And Thunder Rosa is San Antonio's own wrestler celebrity extraordinaire. So that is going on Friday through Sunday. Tickets are still available. Of course, if you want to get a little bit of the big up in front action, you got to splurge on the autographs and photos, of course. But I love the people behind Big Texas Comic-Con. Always a fun weekend, and it's going to be a little spooky too. Good weather for it.
Yep, perfect. Oh no, we wish there was better weather for it. All right, so Luminaria.
Luminaria, it's here again. I feel like I'm so happy we get to talk about this every year. It's back at St. Paul Square, so right on the side of the Alamo Dome. It's from 5:30 to midnight, free. It's a showcase of over 200 artists, and that could be painting, music, light projections. And this year is a little bit more special because they're going to honor the late, great Flaco Jimenez with a tribute early in the evening. And that's going to be a tribute by our very own Jesse Borrego and Shelly Lattes. So going to be amazing to see. Luminaria is always free. Saturday is going to be very busy, so just plan ahead for parking around the Alamo Dome and Luminaria.
Always an issue there. Okay, Chris Park, 20th anniversary celebration.
This is really a hidden gem in San Antonio. Chris Park is right across the street from Ruby City, so in Southtown. It's a beautiful park that Linda Pace and her family opened in tribute to their family, and I can't believe they're celebrating 20 years already. So it's from 2:30 to 5. It's free. You'll get tours of the park. You can still go to the museum at Ruby City if you'd like to. There's going to be music, storytelling, plant cuttings, workshops, some treats, sweets. It's going to be a really great, peaceful, nice, chill art event. But the Linda Pace family has done so much for the art community in San Antonio, so a great way to celebrate the hidden gem that is Chris Park.
And also on Saturday, we have a grand opening for El Museo del West Side.
Everything is happening on Saturday. This is what we talked about, right? Like in October, everyone in San Antonio likes to plan their events like in the 2 weeks that we get maybe some cool weather.
Working on it.
Thanks a lot, Adam. So the Museo del West Side, we've known about it for quite a few years, but it's finally arriving at their grand opening. It's at the Rinconcito de Esperanza, so owned by the Esperanza Center. It's from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. All day long, they will have amazing community leaders from in and around the West Side speaking, presenting. They'll have live music, workshops, community exchanges, storytelling. This is a huge part of San Antonio's history. So if you want to learn more, or if you grew up in the West Side, or you've always heard about San Antonio's West Side, Saturday is the perfect time to go check out this brand new museum opening. I just love all of the special guests. So if you visit the Esperanza Center's website, you'll get to see all of the featured speakers that day, and it's very powerful. It's a powerful event.
Okay, I have to admit, I was worried we were going to run out of time and not be able to talk about this last one because I'm excited about it, but we do have time. Picnic and a movie in the historic East Side Cemetery.
Yeah, so I don't know if this has been done in recent years, but it is actually in honor to the lunches that people and families used to have in our East Side cemeteries. So Office of Historic Preservation and Slab Cinema have a new event starting this Saturday. It's free and it won't be too spooky. They're going to show Coco, right? Family-friendly movie, also in honor of Dia de los Muertos coming up. So you can bring your picnics, your blankets, your chairs, and watch a movie in the city cemetery. There's amazing history in the East Side cemeteries. If you haven't heard about it, look it up. There's a convertible buried with one of the famous people of San Antonio in years past. But I think it's really fun. Plus, they'll have some Dia de los Muertos activities before the movie. And hopefully this is a new tradition that we can carry on and enjoy. I love going to Hollywood Forever Cemetery in LA. They show movies all the time, and funds from those events go back into preserving the cemetery. So I hope we can do the same here in San Antonio.
Yeah, and the East Side cemeteries, I mean, they are such a key part of what, grew around that neighborhood. And they go on for blocks.
Yes, vast. There's blocks and blocks. We live in the East Side, we take walks over there in the daylight. But, I won't be upset if there's a couple hundred people around me at night watching a movie together. I think it's a really fun idea.
Yeah.
The best time to.
And it's Coco.
It's Coco.
It's the best movie. It's so good.
Lots going on this weekend. Plan ahead. There will be traffic.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of people trying to park at the same time. There's plenty of parking. Just plan ahead. That's all I can say all the time. And you can find all the other events also on my social media or on KSAT.
Okay. Yes, that's right.
Thank you so much.
Stephanie, thanks for being here. We'll see you next time.
And we'll be right back after this.
We're all used to counting up the 100-degree days during the summer, but not this time of year. We're counting 90-degree days.
Yes, because we're still in October, and those 90s, man, they just don't want to leave us. They got a tight grip on San Antonio.
They have a big grip on us right now, unfortunately. Now, the average amount of 90-degree days in October is 6. Yeah, wouldn't that be nice, right? The most we've had on record is 19 90-degree days in October. That was back in 1947. So far this year, 13 90-degree days. And going forward, we're going to tally some more up. Actually, getting into the 90s, probably near 90 tomorrow, 92 to 93 Saturday, Sunday. And that's record challenging heat because the record both Saturday and Sunday is 93. Oh, we have a very special thermometer Thursday coming up. Opa! See you in a minute.
Look, Control C, Control V. It's what we've seen with a lot of these, with a lot of our forecasts lately.
Oh,
but
I know.
It's Friday Eve, and it's also Therm Thursday.
I was going to say.
Yes. It's a golden one,
You
I
better.
think.
It's a golden one, and it's also kind of get to know Kasky edition. And another, I wouldn't really call it talent, but another little hidden skill I've got in my repertoire.
The dancing obviously comes with this experience.
Yeah, I like to jiggle and move a lot, you know. Jiggle, that's an interesting way to put it.
Dancing and lip biting for you at the same time.
That's what
how
I'm
you
really
know
into it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm really into it. All right, so we're looking for our first cool morning that really feels like fall, which was, you know, typically for us, we mark that by being below 60 in the 50s. The average first sub 60 degree day is September 26th. The latest on record is October 22nd. So far, the coolest we've been is 63. And October 22nd actually comes next Wednesday, not Thursday. That needs to be moved over. But I do think we're going to break that record for the latest sub 60 degree morning on record for the fall. Tomorrow morning, low 60s outline areas, where mid 60s around town. Now take a look at where the cool air is. It's all in the western U.S. again because of these deep troughs that dig southward in the western U.S. that dip in the upper level flow. You know, we want those to drop all the way into northern Mexico to give us rain-making energy. Unfortunately, that's not here, but they also pull cooler air southward. So, I mean, you look at Vegas at 72. I mean, Omaha, Nebraska is warmer than Las Vegas. Phoenix is 79. That's the same as Oklahoma City. So they're running below average. And of course, we have to check Canada, you know, my favorite towns. Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Myra has met a person from Saskatoon, ironically, while on vacation. She had to text me right away.
Immediately.
Immediately.
I couldn't believe it.
And everybody else like, why is that such a big deal? You're from Saskatchewan. Anyway, there's some cooler air there. It's just not significantly cooler. And some of the cooler air dropping southward, but the core of those cooler air masses will stay just out of our area. In turn, it's more of the same, and we're going to stay above average. Dew points will be dropping significantly going forward on Sunday. A big dew point drop. Dew points in the 50s right now, but by Sunday morning, because of a weak cool front, we're going to see those dew points drop down into the 20 or into the 30s, really, for the most part. So Sunday, very, very dry and lack of any humidity. 66 in the morning tomorrow, 83 at noon, 90 for the high temperature. That's 87 Boerne, 89 Bulverde, 92 Floresville and Pleasanton. And notice Saturday morning is going to be actually pretty warm and muggy at 70. That'll give us the low morning clouds. Otherwise, more of the same, 60s in the mornings, afternoons right near 90. Okay, so last week we talked about this. And I teased a bit. What does a Greek Olympic torch thermometer have to do with Adam Kasky? So this was given to me by the folks at St. Sophia's Greek Orthodox Church here in town on St. Mary's Street. So I do have a unique connection to the Greek community. Mm-hmm. So we're going to play 3 truths and a lie. I was married in a Greek Orthodox church. My wife speaks fluent Greek. Family members were Olympians. Ooh. And mother-in-law was born in Greece. Which is the lie? 3 are true. Which is the lie?
Oh, which is the lie?
Yeah, 3 truths and 1 lie.
Okay.
So 3 are true. There's 1 wrong answer here. Guesses? Guesses?
My guess is C.
Okay, Stephania, what do you think is wrong?
Just to be a contrarian, I'm going to go with B.
Okay. My wife does not speak. I speak better Greek than my wife. I know, I swear I do. Milau aglika almetheno elinika. That means I speak English, but I study Greek.
Look at you.
And so she admits I know have a little bit more. But yes, my mother-in-law was born outside of Skuta. I was married in Greek Orthodox Church with the what do they put on your head? What's the word I'm looking for? The little halo things.
If you've seen my big fat
anyway,
Greek,
yes,
I know what
yeah,
you're
yeah.
talking about.
Yeah, why am I blanking on the word? Anyway, I do have 2 family members that were Olympians.
That's awesome.
Yeah, a biathlete, my cousin, and then my brother's wife was a pentathlete. So the 04 Athens Games, my brother's wife, and then 06 was my cousin, Carolyn, in Torino for Team USA.
That's amazing.
And so that brings me here to the Greek Funstival. It's back after 10 years at St. Sophia's on St. Mary Street, starting tomorrow and then lasting all weekend. So roll the tape, baby. Opa! I had to get a little bit of Greek dancing in with the folks. See, that's what I mean. They were kind enough to give me that nice little Greek hat, too, to go along with it. But it reminded me of my wedding and other relatives' weddings.
Okay, so what does the torch symbolize?
Doing the dancing.
Light, energy, and connections.
Here we go.
And so we had to light what I am calling the new ceremonial thermometer Olympic torch for the Greek Festival, the Greek Fest. Felt good to brush up on my Greek dancing skills. It's been a while. Plus, I modified that thermometer. As you can see, I took their kind of generic one off and put a homemade thermometer on there for them. So anyway, the Greek Fest, the Greek Festival, it's back after 10 years. Get the baklava, the gyros, everything. Baklava. I used to be able to make it by heart. Now I actually have to look it up. Yeah, I could. But I mean, just the butter layer, butter layer, butter layer.
It's
sign me up.
Yeah.
All
Oh,
kinds
so
of
good.
deliciousness. Thank you. We'll be right back after this. All right, my people, this is a look at what's on ABC Primetime. Right after this show, in 5 minutes, you have 911, and then at 9 o'clock, Grey's Anatomy, followed by the Night Beat, right here at 10.